David Brierley, you are the boss man of easyProperty, um, an agency where the likes of the Guild and Fine and Country had a go. What makes you think that you're going to make it any better?
Basically, it's belief. When Easy Property first launched back in 2013, of all the brands that launched, or were launching then as the online hybrid, that was the one that I thought would make it. And for all sorts of reasons, it didn't. But
Well,
fortunately,
third time lucky for you.
yeah, and actually they do say people who set up a golf course from scratch go bust. The second person that picks it up goes bust. The third person actually gets it right because all the hard work's been done, and they've just got to perpetuate it. And I think that's exactly where we are. We've got a very, very strong brand. It's recognised by 98% of consumers in the UK. The EasyJet flies 100 million people. It's well known, and okay, it's not known in the property industry yet, but it's beginning to become known. And I think that for us, taking it easy. Making sure that we get the right people in place, that we don't get attrition, we don't get churn of local property partners. We put them in a position where they can create value for themselves, create a business for themselves, and therefore a bit of business for the rest of us. Then we can make it work.
Okay, you say that brand awareness, but I'm aware of all the brands of the banks, but still that doesn't make me swap. Do you really think a particular shade of orange is going to make someone use your estate agency?
Yeah, I do. Simply not so much because of the shade of orange, but much more because of the change in consumer behaviour, and we're facilitating that change. And that change now was happening. It's been happening in all industries. It's happening in travel industry. It's happening in recruitment. It's happening in retail. And this crisis has accelerated that quite hugely. I mean, the mighty John Lewis is looking at what it's going to do. So I think that consumers are changing faster than our industry, and are wanting things more. And I've never ceased to be amazed at the time that people go onto web chat, time that they phone us, and the time that they're interacting on our website is generally not between 9 and 6 or 9 and 5:30 or whatever the hours are.
So in terms of your estate agency offering to the public, are you going down the cheap fee route with easyProperty?
I would never describe them as cheap. I would describe them as value for money. We have three options. We've got a fixed rate, a fixed fee, and we've got a split fee. So they can pay a little up front, which effectively covers the marketing, and then an amount on completion. So our agent has some skin in the game to make that happen. Or there is a traditional no sale, no fee.
What percentage split do you tend to find with?
At the moment, it's quite difficult because obviously there have been sort of external influences, but I would say sort of in January, February, we were around about 40% upfront fees and 60% were no sale, no fees.
And how many partners do you have in the UK?
We've got 35 at the moment.
Okay.
And we have found again over the last 2 or 3 weeks, particularly as the lockdown has loosened.
So we're in the early July at the moment.
And we've seen a huge spike in applications come to us. We've had over 50 in the last 10 days. Estate agents, employed estate agents looking to think, they've had time to think about it. And I think, one of the sad things about this, and again it comes back to culture, is that so many people have not heard from their employers. They've been furloughed and nobody has sent them an email, said, are you okay? Rung them up and said, are you okay? We'll be in touch. We're just replanning, we're restructuring, we're doing all these things. They've heard nothing.
So are the vast majority of those 50 from people who are on furlough?
Probably about, I would say 60% of them are furloughed and the others are working, but are concerned.
Do you think estate agents, valuers and negs should be concerned?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I think, there's a place, there's lots of businesses that will survive this. There are lots of businesses that will come out a lot stronger. But I think there'll be a lot of businesses that disappear because they're just perpetuating the same old mistakes. They're not changing. They're not recognising the changes in consumer behaviour and reacting to it.
And are the people that are coming to you, how much money do they actually need to have behind them?
Well, I guess it depends very much upon their own living expenses. But if you take an average of around about £1,500, I mean, if they've got between £7,000 and £10,000 great. But there are ways. The beauty of our model is that they can start generating income in month one. So if they sell some upfront fees, we get that immediately, and we pay that immediately. So they can and viewing packs, all that kind of thing, upselling. They can generate revenue in month one,
which is a little bit different to the other self-employed models. Out of those 50, how many do you think are good enough?
I would think we're probably. I'd like to think we get 20.
It's not bad.
Out of that, which is a higher percentage than we have been doing, but I think it's been concentrated and people's minds have been focused by this COVID-19.
And what exactly are you offering these guys? Because let's be honest, self-employed model is that at least when you start your own agency, you haven't got all the big lumps up front, but the downside is that you take a percentage of the fee going forward. What is it that easyProperty offer that others don't?
I think we offer brand. We've got a brand that is recognisable as an overarching umbrella. I think we've got a lot of technology that is maybe it's certainly as good, maybe a bit different than the others have got, and we've got the independence and the freedom to let people be themselves and actually operate. We give them the technology and it helps them do the job, but it doesn't tell them how to do the job, and it doesn't restrain them. I mean, we've got brand guidelines obviously, but it doesn't. The rest of it it's how they. You and I can go into a house and both win the listing doing it a completely different way, and that's fine.
And what do your successful easyProperty people do that they're probably not so successful ones?
Oh, I think they're just very, very strong on social media as local brand networking. They're known, and when Ian in North Wales gets out of his car and walks down the street, people say, "There goes Ian Wynne-Jones from easyProperty. He must be going to value another house." That's how it has to be.
And what final piece of advice would you give to someone who's considering going down the self-employed agent route?
Think very carefully about it. Just think about how you're going to get those appointments to sit on people's sofas, and if you're confident that you can get those through networking, through social media, through people that you know, then do it. If you're not confident about that, and you've got a fear of being able to do that, don't do it.
Thank you for your time today.